characters.
And now you're going to be a daddy, Jamie.
Indeed. To more than one, I think.
Yes, and I'm not familiar with Dragonfly and Amber, so I'm one of those people who watch the show, have no knowledge of the book, and just take it for the ride, and it works so well on that level. And I'm surprised when I go online and I see, I can message boards, comments from book fans. They're not disappointed when you guys do that. When you go off book and you just do other things, they like it, and Diana seems to like it too, and it's interesting that everybody accepts these creative choices that you're making.
Yeah, I think everyone's very aware that, you know, books don't always transfer, you know, across easily into a sort of episodic format. I think they've done very well. I think we've stuck very closely to the books. Whenever we have gone slightly off piste and you know, invented some scenarios, I think it's always within Diana's world, within the world that she's created. And it just adds to the storyline. You know, a lot of the Frank Randall stuff that Tobias plays is not in the books, but I think it shows another side to the struggle that Claire's having with, you know, being virtually married to two men. And likewise, you know, seeing more of Jamie, more of what he's thinking. Obviously, the books are from Claire's point of view, so to see Jamie's point of view just gives us more of an understanding of who these characters are. And I think people want that. I think people want, in TV these days, want to be able to find out more about the world that they're sort of buying into.
And that was a very controversial thing when it started, when all of a sudden your character's point of view became a dominant thing alongside Claire's. I remember the outcry it was saying, no, this is Claire's story. But and then Diana was brought into the debate, and she was saying, you know, no, this is a good thing. You know, this is let's pursue this. And it was strange that became such an issue.
Yeah, I think ultimately, I think people, fans of the books, they would they say they want one thing, but if they got that, they would get bored of it very quickly. And I think it's important that we keep challenging the viewer and keep surprising them. Otherwise, you know, I think people get bored quite quickly. And not that we're trying to always be different, but I think Ron does that very well. I think he always flips things on his head, and I think our show is certainly one of the trademarks of it is that it's always changing. The one moment you think it's a show set in the 1940s or a show set in a castle, and then suddenly we're on the road, and then suddenly we're in, in sort of the British, British prison or in France, and definitely this show goes on a journey, not only physically. I mean, we go to some crazy places, and yeah, season 2 is going to be very, very different.
All right, last question. I asked Ron if he has a favorite scene in the whole series, and he picked a scene that we see from your point of view, and he said it's the church yard scene right before the wedding, where you guys meet, and you're both in your wedding finest, and Jamie has a line about the sun rising, and the line actually came from a conversation that he and his wife had, and they managed to incorporate it into the show. So it had special meaning for them both, and it's of course that the churchyard scene before the wedding itself is built with such anticipation, emotional weight, etc., etc. Is that one? Do you have a favorite scene from the series, from the season 1?
It's really interesting because I love what he did at that moment, because the line is, I think, basically in the book, Claire is describing Jamie, that moment that when he walks out, the sun came out, almost like he's sort of this vision of the sun. But what Ron did is he's actually flipped it over and made it Jamie speaking those words. And I just think that was a really clever thing, a little nod to the fans of the books, but something that the viewer would still appreciate, but not realize it's there. But yeah, I think that's a really clever part. But for me, my favorite scene, I mean, I think possibly it's hard to separate them from playing them to watching them. But I think that for me, maybe the river in episode 9, when Jamie and Claire kind of go at each other. There's very high stakes and high emotions, and it was the first time that myself and Katrina really got to express ourselves, expand ourselves, our acting skills, and to really get to the root of the problems that were going on in their relationship. And those kind of heavy scenes, without being melodramatic, they're very rewarding to play. And before that point, my character had kind of been on the periphery, and we'd not really learned much about him. So yeah, that was like the start of seeing how heavy or how rooted this relationship could be, and also, yeah, to sort of to move forward from that towards Wentworth was really fun to play. Fun, I say.
Well, keep going. It's a great ride, great show, and you're terrific at the job. Good luck at the Emmys.
Well, that would be, that's fantastic. I mean, we're just delighted that the response from the fans has been great, and hopefully word of mouth as well. People will keep watching.
I think you can be assured of that. Thanks a lot, Sam.
Thank you so much. Great to speak to you. Bye-bye.
Same here.